Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss about the CDMA. In our previous video we have already studied about the GSM network. So this CDMA actually stands for Code Division Multiple Access. This CDMA is one of the digital cellular technology that uses the spread spectrum technique. Whereas in the GSM we have also studied that it is using the TDMA, that is time division multiple access technology, where in case of GSM the frequency was been assigned to each specific user. That means if at all if the frequency is about 200 kilohertz, that 200 kilohertz was actually divided into 8 users. That means 8 time slots the frequency was being divided, so that only 8 users can access the frequency. And how each user was getting the data? 200 divided by 8, that means each user was getting around the 25 hertz of data. Within 25 hertz of data each user was sending the passing the data. But in case of CDMA, it is using a technology known as spread spectrum technology, which will not assign any specific frequency to the user. Instead, every channel or the user uses the full available spectrum to send the data. I can show you example here. I can show here. So this is the spread spectrum technology, where here two users are there, the user 1 and the user 2. The user 1 and the user 2 are using the complete channel to send the data. Okay, the frequencies are not divided, whereas in case of CDMA, as I had shown the similar kind of slide here. So here the two users are there. In GSM network, the entire bandwidth has been actually divided. Right now it is divided into two users. Okay, here I can show you 200 frequency within 8 users. The frequency is divided into 8 slot. Now each user, first user is getting around 25 megahertz. Within that he has to send the data. Second one, third one, like that. If the first one is completed with his communication network, within this time slot, if it is not sufficient to transfer his data, again he has to come in the queue. So again the first user will come in queue, and when his turn come, again he has to deliver the data. But users will not feel this delay in transferring the data. But at the simultaneously only 8 active users can use the frequency. This entire frequency is about 200 kilohertz. So they are sharing here. You can see the user right now here, only 2 active users are there. They are sharing the same frequency channel. So the first preference was given for the packet. The entire message was divided into packet. So user 2 has sent his message, again user 1, again user 2, again user 1, depending upon the time slot. But if you observe this slide, here the channel is being shared by the depending upon the number of active users. Any number of users can simultaneously send the data, okay, at any given point of time. So there is no any like 8 users can only make a phone call at this particular frequency at this particular time slot, nothing of that sort. So you can see there is a combination of both the user signals are there. The question is, then how at the receiving end the receivers will understand which message belongs to them? And there will be many receivers or the mobile phones, isn't it? Now right now 2 users are there. How this user will get to know that hi is the message which was being sent by the source, and how this receiver will get to know go was the message which was being sent to me. So there is a one technique here. Here individual conversation, these are hi and go are the individual conversation about for this user and go for this user. Here individual conversations are being encoded with a pseudo-random digital sequence. See, for an example I can give here, purple code is the pseudo-random given to this user. Green code is a given pseudo-random code which has been given to this user. At the timing of sending the data from the source and from both the source, there is actually encoding takes place, where a pseudo-random digital sequence will be generated. Pseudo-random digital sequence is nothing but a code. Randomly one of the code will be generated within the form of combination of digital, that is it, in the form of zeros and ones. One example I can give you, like how the OTPs are being generated whenever if you want to make any transaction, online transaction, a random number of OTP will be generated, which is of integers. They are all the integer, right? Whole numbers they are. Same way, whenever you are transmitting any data, if you are using the CDMA, the technology what we are using is the spread spectrum. Spread spectrum, while sending the data, they are also generating, like, randomly certain codes are being generated. Now this user has got an unique code, this also user has an unique code. When they send the packet, that unique code also will get attached to the packet, and they will travel the same common channel. Transmission takes place at the receiving end. What happened again, the demultiplexing will take place, decoding will take place. What is why we have to encode and decode? Because of the security reasons. We have already studied it when I was discussing about the modem. Okay, in order to provide a security so that others shouldn't come what exactly message are being exchanged between the two users, encoding is required. At the receiving end, the message will get decoded with the help of unique code. The user will use that code. If the user are using the purple code, then he will get the actual message hi only, which has been sent by this source. When this user use the green code in order to decode, then he will get the actual message which was being sent by this user. So by using the pseudo random codes, okay, the receiver at the receiving end, each receiver will use the unique code. The receiver will decode the message, and the message will be handed over to the respective users or the mobile phone. This is how exactly the CDMA network works. Now I can also say how exactly CDMA works. CDMA is a form of spread spectrum, means where the data is sent in a small pieces over the number of discrete frequency. Now this is what is discrete frequency means. Small pieces of data message has been sent in a discrete frequency, means where your signals are not continuous. It is changing. It is low here. It is low means 0. It is higher once. It is low. It is high. So they are not in continuous form, and at any time they may send the data in a specified range. That means a specified frequency is given. Suppose think that this bandwidth, so any communication, whether it's a GSM or CDMA, all have to use the base station, that is antennas. Okay, suppose 200 kilohertz, if this spread spectrum is providing, means each user, see there are 3 users, each user is using the data to transmit completely 200 kilohertz. Every user is getting. Whereas in case of GSM, how it was, that 200 was actually divided into 8 users. But here it is not like that. The first user can use 200 kilohertz to send his data. Second user also can use the same. Third user also can use the same. Like that, n number of users can use the same spectrum or the same frequency in order to transmit the data. And when the base station sends the reply back from the other end, who is making receivers, in between base stations and all are using, they are also sending within the same frequency range also. If the frequency, if it is not divided, obviously the data speed will be very fast enough, and the voice quality also will be very fast, will be very accurate. Now here I can show you, there are n users. Channels means there are n users, and each user is using the complete frequency. And here the color coding is given in terms of red. Here it is given as blue. Like this, when these data reaches at the end also, by using the unique code, okay, the message will be decoded and it has been delivered to the destination. But actually here it is not, CDMA will not use the color coding, it is using the digital coding. Digital unique code will be generated, like how the OTPs are generated for your mobile phones, in order to confirm that you are the genuine user of account holder of that bank, and hence you are crediting or debiting the amount. Same way in CDMA also, a pseudo random digital sequence number will be generated as the time when you are transferring the data. At the receiving end, by using the same code, it will decode and the message will be handed to the respective receiver, and all the users will transmit the data in the same wideband chunk of the spectrum. As I said, all the n users will make of use, will send the data in the same width of this band. If this band if it is of 200 kilohertz means, so all the n users are having the capable to send and receive the data with the 200 kilohertz frequency only. That is what is same wideband chunk of the spectrum. Each user signal is spread over the entire bandwidth by unique spreading code. That means each user code data is been spread over this entire bandwidth. This code 1 is spread the entire, he has spread his entire data with this in a unique code. He has spread this his data in this frequency. Second one, he has spread his data. Third one, he has also spread the data by using the unique spreading code. At the receiving end, the same unique code is being used to recover the signal. Now all this CDMA, it is based upon the technology known as the spread spectrum. This CDMA is one of the digital telephone cellular technology that is using a spread spectrum technique. The spread spectrum technique, it will allow the each user to completely use the channel, okay, at any specific time, okay. And how it is forwarding the data? By generating the pseudo random code, okay. So this is all about the CDMA. Now let us go on to the next topic, that is wireless in local loop, which is very much interesting topic. So in this wireless local loop, we are going to study how exactly the telephone works, okay. If at all, if within the city local area network, if within the same city, how we are making use of the antennas, what kinds of signals we are using to transmit the data. Suppose if a metropolitan city is having almost 10,000 landline users of they are there, 10,000 cables to establish right from the switching center, right from the antennas to the each user. We cannot establish the 10,000 cables, right? If 10,000 landline users are there, it's difficult to deploy all those cables, to lay the cables till their home. It's highly difficult. So in that case, we are using the wireless local loop, wireless in local loop. In short, we can also call it as WLL. This WLL is nothing but it's a telephone system, okay. It's a telephone. Wireless local loop is nothing but it's a telephone system where the subscribers are served, okay. They are connected to the switching office. Switching office, we have studied it in the circuit switching, okay. Switching office is the mainly who is helping you to recognize the call. So whatever phone call is, suppose think that this is a source and this is the destination. If this call is being made by the source from this home, actually your signals go to the switching office. Switching office will identify where is the destination. It will send a request to the destination and find out whether the user is active or no, whether the user is busy with some other phone or no. It will find out. If the user is not busy, then a ringtone, it will allow to have a physical connection between the source and the destination. Then the ringtone will be heard at the destination point, okay. So this concept I have already discussed in the circuit switching. So same circuit switching technique will be applied, but only thing here, before I start with the concept, I just want to tell you about some of the terminologies. Like this is your home. In home you are using the landline phone, okay. If you are using a landline phone, you will be having with a small box, like yellow color box will be using, that will be acting as a transceiver, okay. That is mainly responsible for you to connect your landline phone to the base station. Base station is nothing but an antenna or the tower, okay, which is nearest to your home. And the communication between your home and this base station, whatever it is all about the radio signals. They are using the radio signals. Now this base station is called as the multiplicity multi-channel transmitter receiver, which is in general we can call it as a transceiver. Now what is this transceiver? Is nothing but a transceiver is any antenna that has capable of receiving and transmitting the data. Then such kinds of antenna we can call as the transceivers. In general, we usually call it as a base stations. Now, why it is called as multiplicity of multi-channel? Because you can see here up to 24 channels it can handle. That means 24 connections this antenna is having capability of having 24 connections. That is why we call it as a multiplicity, multiple channel. I hope you are clear. And this is switching center. Any phone calls you make through the landlines or mobile phones or whatever devices, through whatever devices you make a phone calls, always your phone calls will go to the switching center. Switching center will establish the will help in establishing the connection between the source telephone and the destination telephone. So now let us start with how exactly this WLL will work and why it is being used. Okay. WLL actually used, it is using the radio signals rather than having the copper wires, okay, in order to make the connection between the subscribers and the telephone network. Now this WLL, so in short I'm telling, instead of telling wireless and local loop, I'm using WLL. So WLL is meant to serve the subscribers at home or the offices. Anybody who's having the landline phones at home or offices, in order to provide the service to them, this WLL, it is serving the subscribers. Subscribers are nothing but the customers. Okay, customers at home or offices. And whatever the kind of communication it is using analogous with the telephone services. Analogous, I hope you know what are the analog signals and the digital signals. It is using the analog signals in order to transmit your having the connection between the home and the base station. Okay, now we'll see where exactly this WLL will work. WLL serves the local area by deploying the multiplicity of multi-channel transmit or receive base station known as the transceiver that are within the line of sight of intended customer. That means WLL is working in the local area network. That means within the same city it is working by deploying, in a sense, by having an antenna which is nothing but transceiver of type transceiver that is having capability to transmit and receive the data, and it should have the direct line of sight propagation to the intended customer. So that is the reason why the antennas are maintaining certain height. Usually they are very height. Why? Because they should have a direct connection between the the antenna and your home, so that when the radio signals propagate, they shouldn't have any kind of obstacles in between them. No matter the radio waves are having capability to penetrate and then propagate to reach to the destination, but if so, the quality of that radio signals will get degraded. So then the other side, the people who are onto the conversation may not hear the voice quality properly. That is the reason why antennas are having placed with a very certain height they will maintain, so that directly the propagation should be, so that there should be no any obstacles in order to reach to the destination. I hope you are understanding. Then we got to know that what is there in the antenna. So there should be one device at your side also, in home also. If you are using landline phone, there should be one device that is capable of accepting and receiving the data whatever the base station is sending, isn't it? So each customer is equipped with a mini station of low power into which the telephone is being connected. I was telling that one small device, a box will be there at your home to which the landline phone is being connected. So within that mini low power station, it is actually a radio transceiver, and it acts as a WLL interface. It will act as a mediator between the customer and the base station, in order to help you to have the telephone connection. So with that mini low power station, it has been assembled in the box, actually that radio transceiver assembled in the box, and from that box there are only two outlets. One cable is been connecting to the telephone connector, and the other one, it is actually connecting to the directional antenna. Whatever the mini station you are having at your home, the one cable will be connecting to the wireless communication. It will make a connection to the antenna. Other one, it is connected to a landline phone. If you disconnect the connection between that box and your landline phone, you will not be able to hear the ringtone. Okay, so if you plug in, then only you'll be able to have to hear the ringtone. That is nothing but the radio transceiver mini station that has been given to the customer, so that they can establish the connection between the base station and your house. Then Next thing is, it's not only that telephone service, and now before wireless local loop, when it had come into existence, it was very much analog and it was restricted to only for the telephone services. But now even data, it also supports for the internet services also. Data transmission also it will support for, like, a fax or the modem could also be connected to the computer in order to have the data services. Through wireless local loop we can also send the internet services. Now it has been converted to the digital also, but we are studying it in the form of analogous. Now let me tell you how exactly the telephone call is being established. So when the calls are being made from the telephone, when the calls are being made from the telephone, the signals are being sent to first to the base station. These signals are sent to the base station for the connection, which is subsequently established through a switching center. So this base station will it will send those signals to the switching center. Okay. An incoming call will be identified by this switching center and it will route those signals back to the base station. Then base station will send us signals to the destination to find out whether the destination is free or no. If the destination is free, the wireless connection will be made between the source and the destination. Hence, a call will be completed in a conventional manner. So before I have the telephone call, all these things, big antenna you should have, switching center you should have, and you should also have an equipment. Okay, a mini station should be you should have at your home. Then only all these telephone connection is possible. So when a phone call is being made, your signals will first come to the base station with the radio signals. Then that base station will contact the switching center in order to find whether the destination is free or no. Then the switching center will send the route to the base station, through which route it should contact to the destination to find out if the destination is free or no. Then the base station will send its radio signals to find out the destination if it is free or no. Once if it is free, then a wireless connection will be established between the source and the destination, and whatever the connection is being established, every connection will have to pass through the base station only. So base station, again the signal will be sent to the base station, the destination is free, and whatever then wireless connection, when it is established, any communication takes place, it has to pass through this base station. This is how exactly the call will be established by using wireless local loop. Why this wireless in local loop came into existence? Because it is very much difficult to have the copper wires in order to make the connection with the huge population, and if we are having the cables and all, we need to maintain it. Their implementation cost will be very high, their maintenance cost will be very high. So in order to avoid that, we are using the wireless in local loop. Okay. Then this wireless local loop system can operate with the GSM handsets as well as GSM subscriber unit. That means this wireless local loop is supported with the GSM handsets. It is also supported with the CDMA handsets also, but still it is extensively used in the GSM networks. Okay, that means our mobile phones. Wireless, we may also, if we are having conversation through our mobiles, which is of GSM network, maybe we are having the communication with the wireless. If I am talking to my friend who is within the city, within my Hubli city only, then I may get into the wireless local loop, and whatever the transmission, it may be through the radio wave signals also. And the system is very much transparent to the central office and subscribers. That means central office means switching center, and subscribers means customers, and it is acting as an interface with the most of the standard central office switches, subscribers and telephone equipment. That means the whatever the architecture, whatever the implementation is there, it is very much simple, and it is the transparent to the users to know how exactly the communication takes place. Okay. Now some of the advantages in wireless local loop we will discuss. So this wireless local loop, it actually provides a better bandwidth. Okay, it will provides the better bandwidth and comparatively to the traditional telephone. That means because we are using the radio wave signals, which is having the capability to reach to the destination. Okay, almost 800 megabits per second data transfer rate it will provide. Obviously, if it is providing that much bandwidth, means the voice quality which is sending through the wireless local loop will be very high. I can give an example. If I'm having a communication with my friend within the same city, quality of that voice will be very much clear than a person when I'm having a conversation from other city. It's all because of the wireless local loop. Okay, then this wireless local loop will not suffer from any kind of weather damage, vandalism or any accidents, because whatever the communication it is taking place in the radio waves, which is wireless communication. If I had a copper wires, they were all susceptible for the weather condition. There was a provision that cables may get damaged and all. So such kinds of things will not happen with the wireless local loop. And this wireless local loops provides you with the better bandwidth, superior customer service features and quality can be improved. That's all because of it is a wireless communication. Its implementation cost is less, and its maintenance is not there. Okay, all these devices which are within the wireless local loop, all they are wireless connections only. They are not using any kinds of cables. But here at this part of them, they may using fiber optics and all. But the connection between the base station until your home, it is all regarding with the wireless. Now some more images I would like to show here. Now this is what we have studied. The connection between this is base station, which is nothing but the transceiver. We have studied the wireless local loop, the connection between your home and this station, okay, this antenna. And this antenna is in turn connecting what? Switching center. This is actually your switching center, okay. In between, it is all passing through these networks or the devices, but these are we are least bothered. We are not discussing about this part. You should know about why the wireless local loop is used. It is used to serve the subscribers at homes or the offices. For that reason, we are using the wireless local loop. Okay, now I can show the slide also. See the connection between your antenna and your home. This is nothing but the wireless local loop. I hope this WLL is clear enough. Okay, you just need to understand where it is used, why it is used. That's it. Okay. Now let us continue with our next topic, that is GPRS. Okay. I hope GPRS, you know how the GPRS and what exactly the GPRS is. It so happened that sometimes if you don't experience the internet services, though you have recharge and everything, if you are not able to experience the internet service, you may call to the customer care and you may ask that I have already recharged with so and so, but I am not experiencing the internet service. The customer at the other end, he may say that we will resend the GPRS settings to your mobile phone so that you save it so that you may experience the internet connections, isn't it? So that is nothing but the GPRS. GPRS is nothing but actually stands for General Packet Radio Service. Okay, General Packet Radio Service. Usually most of the people will get confused with the GPRS and GPS. GPS is completely, that is global positioning system that helps you to find the location of the users, whereas GPRS is a technology. It is helping you to connect to the internet. It is helping the users to connect to the internet. Here you can see here, this is a laptop which is using the modem, GPRS modem, that is helping you to connect to the internet. At the end it is internet, but how you are connecting, again you are using the antennas or the base stations, or you can also call them, these are the transceivers. I hope you know what is transceiver. Okay, any antenna that have the capability to transmit and receive, I can say is antenna. Now whatever the connection it is happening, everything is in the form of wireless only. Here you can see a mobile user, they are also wanting to connect to the internet, but they are using what? GPRS link. Here also a mobile phone as a GPRS modem, here Bluetooth link. Again it is also in turn using the GPRS. Again all this GPR networks in turn connected with the gateway. Okay, we have said that in organization how the gateway is working as firewall. This gateway is actually in a node which is helping you to connect the two different dissimilar networks. It is connecting the internet, and it might be the LAN network, so it might be an individual mobile phone. This is again a LAN network. So it is, gateways are helping you to connect the two dissimilar networks, and it is also act as an entrance between the two different networks. All this GPRS network is helping in turn for you to connect to the internet itself. Okay, before to this also we had an internet connection, but GPRS we are preferring. Nowadays every internet is using the GPRS network only. Why? Because the data transfer rate which is being provided with the GPRS is very high. It's almost 56 kilobytes per second to 114 kilobits per second data transfer rate is there. That is the reason we have already we are using the GPRS network. Now this GPRS is a packet based wireless communication service that provides the connection to the internet for the mobile phone users or the computer users. Now what technology or what technique did this GPRS is using is packet switching technique. Completely GPRS network is working upon this technique only. Now this using GPRS we can connect to the internet, okay, we can send emails, we can listen to the real-time news, download games, upload videos, allows for video conferencing, we can interact with the multimedia, and we can also access for the website. So whatever things you want to do perform with an internet, you have to use the GPRS network. Now we'll see how exactly GPRS work. We already know how the packet switching techniques will work. So same way GPRS will use. In GPRS the information is broken into smaller units known as the packets. Okay, now what is a packet? The entire message is divided into small units of data chunk, where in that packets we have source address, we have destination address, and the actual message to be sent. So these packets will be sent through the networks, and packets will get reassembled at the receiving end because the sequence number also will be attached. Usually GPRS will provide the very high speed data transfer between 56 kilobits per second to 114 kilobits per second, and GPRS usually charged only on the amount of data sent or received, not for the duration of the connection. One quality of GPRS I can say it is always on, always connected. See, previously we have the other internet connection like GSM. GSM is working based upon the circuit switching technique. When you are having only the GSM network, when you are having, if you are connected to the internet also, they were actually charging you. Okay, for just connected to the internet they were charging. But at the time when the GPRS have come into consideration, GPRS gives one of the important properties, always on, always connected. This means what? If you are connected to the internet and if you are not downloading and if you are not uploading anything, you are not giving any charge for that. That means suppose whole day if I am not uploading or if I am not downloading, if I am not browsing at all, but I keep my internet on in my mobile handset, I will not be charged for that. But I'll not my much internet data will not be used, so I'll not be paying for that. Only if I download, only if I use the service by using the GPRS network, or if I access the internet for browsing or for surfing or for chatting something, if I perform any activity by using the internet, then only I'll be charged for that. That is why GPRS, one benefit it is giving is always on, always connected. Now this GPRS is nothing but it is actually comes under the GSM network only. Now we are using GSM handsets. Okay, we are using GSM handsets. Within that we are using the GPRS link in order to connect to the internet because of its speed. Okay, 54 kilobits per second to 114 kilobits per second we are using the GPRS network, and it also provides only for browsing. It will charge browsing, surfing or download and uploading. If at all if you are just connected to the internet, you will not be charged. That is why GPRS has become most popular. Here also you can see internet and GPRS, all of these devices, all of these users are making use of the GPRS, then only they are able to connect to the internet. Indirectly it is connected to the server. You can here also see user is there, server, okay, and all these are users. They are all users. They are using all the GSM network. Any communication happens, have to make use of the antenna. Antennas may be using microwaves or the radio waves. So just you should understand what is GPRS stands for, why it is used. It is used to access for the internet purpose. Okay, then how it is working, based upon which technique, that is a packet switching technique, and what is its speed. Okay, so this is all about the GPRS. So watch the video properly. Assignments will be given for you all. Solve the questions accordingly. Fine. I hope the concepts are clear for you. So till our next video, take care. Okay, be safe. Thank you.